Seconds out, Eamon Khan here with esteemed trainer Mark Tibbs as he gets his charge. Tommy Fletcher ready for the weekend. Mark, first of all, Happy New Year. I hope it's not too late to still say that. How are you doing, sir?
Lovely, very well, thank you, and Happy New Year to you as well.
Let's turn our attentions to this weekend. Tommy, 3-0, looking to start the year off with a bang as he left the year off with a bang last year. Talk to me about Tommy's progression, what you'd like to see from this weekend and throughout 2023.
Well, Tommy's learning his craft outside obviously in the gymnasiums, and he's had some decent, very good sparring. A little bit heavy for him, to tell the truth. He's had sort of like a heavyweight sparring. He's had southpaw sparring, orthodox sparring, but they've been heavyweights. But because he punches are hard, he has to work with heavyweights sometimes. But he's had some cruiserweights, very good cruiserweights as well. I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but he's had some good credible opponents, sparring partners, I should say. But I'm happy with him. But he's got a very tricky opponent on Saturday that should give Tommy rounds, valuable rounds, as in competition rounds. And so this guy, he doesn't get stopped. His name's Daryl Sharp. He don't get stopped at all. So he's a tough campaigner, former champion, area champion. So therefore he should give Tommy some decent rounds. It's his first 6-rounder. So I'm looking forward to Tommy staying calm and relaxed, but switched on nevertheless, to pick and open up target to get off them big shots. But he's got to place them like he always does. Place them, not waste them.
Can you go into that a little bit more, like what you're looking from Tommy? Is that just a bit of composure against someone like Daryl, who's experienced there in the ring, looking for that composure, maybe then as well, that the big finish to follow through that composure?
Well, to be fair, he's always been composed, Tommy. He's always been composed. But now he's got an extra 2 rounds. He can smooth out them lines. When I mean smooth out the lines, amateurish is very hard lines, so to speak. So he's got he's moving on to 6 rounds now. As long as he's got good legs, he ain't got to run with this guy, but he's got to open him up with that right hand jab. He's got a lovely jab. And the more he uses that jab, the more fun he'll have putting people away.
Let's talk about the people in the gym. We were attention to there. Johnny Fisher, big name in the gym. How's Johnny looking? When can we expect to see him out?
Johnny Fisher is out on the 11th of March. He's in his first 8-round fight. He's in very, very good place right now. He is a machine right now. He's been built. He's going to spar in the Joe Joyce camp in 2 weeks' time in Las Vegas. So great experience for Johnny. That is. There's a wealth of experience in campaigners for Joe Joyce, so Johnny will pick up the remnants of, including Joe sparring as well. Very good experience for him. As long as it's all managed properly, which it is by S-Jam, and it's just got a great 2 or 3 weeks out in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Now Brooke got the win against Faith Always. She's now looking for another opponent on the Misfits card. It won't be Ashton Wet, the fight that people in that split want to see. How's Brooke looking? Do we know what opponent she's got next?
I'm not aware of any plans for Elbrook. I do train her at my gym, and I'm very pleased with her performance and the way she's developed as a novice. Yeah, she's done brilliant.
Mark, can I turn your attention to the main event this weekend? A very good fight in prospect there. Can you break it down for me in terms of what Yard has to do to get the win? If he can secure it, how does he do it?
I think Yard should use his attributes. His attributes is his freshness, his youth, yeah? So nice and compact, speedy, patient, jab, up and down jab, look and wait for some openings, not wait for some openings, create some openings. He's got the punch power but you have to hit that man consistently, persistently, on point. You know what I mean? He's a very, very tough opponent. Can't wait for that fight, and Beterbiev is like a proper demolition man. So he's going to take some beating, but if any, I won't be surprised if Yard can pull off the upset because of his youth, his experience he had with Kovalev. He should have grown and learned from that. And Beterbiev is a tough man, but when I look at him, when he's not in fighting, when he's not training, it looks thick and dense. and he's much older than Yard. You know, in his twilight years, I should say. So that has to, and we have to work, or say we, Yard has to work that to his advantage. Yeah, for sure.
From the tape that you've seen of Beterbiev, people highlight 2 points in his career. If you're going to beat him, it's the 2 knockdowns. Callum Johnson, most famously and recently, knocked him down. Are there very many holes in Beterbiev's game that you see in the tape that you've watched of him?
No, he's very, very complete. He's a very complete strong man. But a puncher like Callum Smith, if you can catch him off guard, that's what Yard needs to do. So to create and surprise with on-point shots, shoulder and hips into it, bang, you know what I mean? But difficult task. And I've not watched much of Yard or Beterbiev of late. I know through their stats and you know their box rec what's it's a tough fight, yeah.
Mark, with that, so then, predict the fight for me. How does it play out at the weekend?
For Tommy Fletcher?
No, for Beterbiev.
Beterbiev Yard. As I say, if Yard can be very patient but persistent with his work, holds his head, yeah, and chip away, he's got a puncher's chance. But he can't go in there crash bang wallop, because Beterbiev, his wealth of experience, has seen it all before. But what a fight, and what a great opportunity. He's got a second crack at the world title, and I feel that Yard has learnt a lot from the Kovalev fight, and his whole team would have done. And he's a good athlete, Anthony Yard. There's more from Anthony Yard. I can see it, I can feel it, and I hope it comes out Saturday night.
Last weekend, Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Smith, an explosive finish which not many in the industry saw coming there. Can you tell me what you think the next step for Chris Eubank Jr. is? Do you think he should take the rematch with Liam Smith?
Well, I've got to be straight with you here. I've got all set up to watch that fight. I'm looking forward to it for weeks, and I never got to watch it. I was in Spain, and I was chilling, and I started off early to watch the fight, and I kind of pre-ejaculated. What I'm saying is I had my 8-year-old son who's got a bad cough, and it was getting late for him. We was out, and so I had to get him back. But I kind of pictured that Eubank would be put down, but I thought he would get up and do good work in the late rounds and probably win the fight. So I was wrong there, but I weren't surprised because Smith is a very cute operator, as in like experience. He's mixed in better company than Eubank. I'm not judging here. I felt Eubank could have been a world champion by now, but his stubbornness, unless that's an act, is going to catch up with him in his twilight years. And you know, I'm not saying he's cut corners, but listening to good instruction. I've just felt he feels he knows it all, or he knew it all. But I feel he was strong. He was like bent. I've always felt bent arms. He could have mastered his long levers as well. But that's just me as a coach looking on. What was your question?
It was just about potentially Eubank Jr.'s next step. Should he take the rematch?
I think, as a boxing fan looking on, I think if he goes away, puts his head down, get his nut right, I think that's a good option for him. I think it's a good option, probably the only option. But if he gets beat in that sort of fashion, where would he go from there? Yeah. But I'm sure he's done well for himself. But you know, when you're not in that team, you don't know what their options are, what they want to do, and that. But I'd like to see the rematch for sure with Liam Smith. I think Liam Smith would entertain it, and I'm hearing that Eubank weren't happy with the stoppage. So there's the rematch.
Would you still like to see the fight with Conor Benn, Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn?
Conor Benn, Eubank Jr. Well, I'd rather tie up loose ends first. Yeah, but I'm not sure what Conor Benn, what position he's in right now. Is he got the all clear and that? Okay, well, listen, it's pointless talking about that. But I'd like to see Smith versus Eubank too.
Mark, you gave me some good insight there about Eubank's stubbornness, and people point to the stubbornness in terms of the coach, and he maybe doesn't want to listen to specific coaches. The Roy Jones Jr. style, what have you made of Eubank switching over to that style? Has it worked? Is it fluid? Should it go somewhere else potentially? What do you think?
Well, it is fluid, and I can't say if it's right or wrong. There is a difference there with it. I remember watching him. I was in Las Vegas myself for when he fought Liam Williams, right?
Yeah.
Liam Williams, and I did notice some change in his style, and I was pleased for him. But I still think he could have stuck it on him later rounds. You know what I mean? Stuck it on him, and he was happy to coast and get the result. Am I right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I did notice the change and a bit of something different in him. So that's obviously come from Roy Jones. But see what happens is if you stubborn and don't listen to someone you trust, you got to trust them. If you ain't listening to them, you don't trust them. You know what I mean? But you robbing yourself of moving forward and gaining experience. You know, it can only be small things, but you can't just shut down. I know, you know what I mean? You can't say I don't. You know more than them, if you know what I mean. I just feel he was probably of that character, but I'm not judging him at all. But what I'm saying is, if he's stubborn and he don't listen, all he's doing is robbing himself. And later down the line, when if they'd listened, they would have been wiser. Do you get me? I think that makes sense.
It does make sense. Final couple of things from me, Mark. It seems like Anthony Joshua is going to be signed, sealed, delivered on a fight with Jermaine Franklin, who we saw.
Say that again, sorry.
And it looks like signed, sealed, delivered, hopefully soon be announced. Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin, someone we saw face Dylan White. Close fight. People thought Franklin got the win. Do you think this is the right fight for Anthony Joshua, Jermaine Franklin?
Great comeback fight. First I've heard of it just now. Great comeback fight for Anthony Joshua to get in the swing of things with his new coach too. So listen, he needs to make some changes. Anthony Joshua does, 100%. So let's hope he does a job on Jermaine Franklin. Yeah, well, that's looking forward to that. When's that happening?
April 1st, it's saying.
April 1st, brilliant. Good to hear that. Good fight for Joshua.
You mentioned changes there. What are those changes you'd like to see in Joshua's game?
I'd like to see him fight how he used to fight, you know? How he used to fight. Let his hands go. And not try and be too complicated or technical, you know what I mean? It's not for everybody, you know what I mean? He's as long as he can block, parry, move his feet, get behind the left hand, the best weapon of choice. Left hand, strong man. Isn't he strong? He can punch. Well, let's hope he gets it together.
Mark, pleasure speaking to you. Thanks for speaking to Seconds Out. All the best for you and Tommy Fletcher this weekend.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.